It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. It is time for Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. Hello, everybody. It is Golem F. Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We are awaiting possibly the arrival of Michael Bullock, but I really doubt he'll be here tonight. He's drowning his sorrows tonight as his beloved Boston Bruins have been sent home in the Stanley Cup playoff round two. The Islanders got him, crushed them tonight, 6-2, winning the series 4 games to 2, putting them out in 6 games. Um, so maybe we'll get them, maybe we won't. I don't know. But one thing is for sure, you're gonna get it tonight, guys. Another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem, but we're gonna do it a little differently tonight, guys. So as you may know, we did hold off Ridiculously Raw on Monday night. We did not have a show on Monday because we were like, you know what, we need the content and everything else. So let's combine Raw and NXT together, and that later in the week we'll do the other two. We'll do SmackDown Live. We'll do AEW because AEW will once again be back on Friday, and we also are going to preview the NXT In Your House show that's going to be going down. That'll all go down on Saturday night. But for tonight, we're going to give you Monday Night Raw and the NXT that we have not done yet. And with that said, Anthony Florio front and center, my friend, as we get ready for, I guess, this version of Ridiculously Raw as we recap Monday Night Raw.
All right. Thank you very much. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. Hello, friends. Anthony Florio here for this very special and unique edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem. Delighted to have you with us as always. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into Monday Night Raw, which went down this past Monday night from the Thunderdome at the Yuengling Center on the campus of the University of South Florida as we continue the build to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And we started things off with a tag team battle royale, 5-team battle royale. RK Bro, the Viking Raiders, the New Day, along with the Lucha House Party, and I can't remember who the other team was that was in this match. But beforehand, we had some verbal shenanigans. We had some shenanigans. AJ Styles and Omos. AJ wanted to have this address, almost like a State of the Union type address, interrupted by the Miz and Morrison. We're not going to get into that because that was complete and utter crap. Beyond pointless and unnecessary, but it is what it is. So then we had this 5-team battle royale where the winning team will advance to take on AJ Styles and Omos for the Raw Tag Team Championships further down the road. And I do apologize. I don't know who the 5th team was. I do know RK Bro was in there. There was the New Day. There was the Viking Raiders. There was the Lucha House Party. And Mason T-Bar. That's who it was. Mason T-Bar. Now I remember. The winners of the match, I don't have the time of the fall on me right now. Bear with me because I'm on another device here because of circumstance technical difficulties beyond my control for the moment. But I do know the winners of the match, the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar, they will get a chance to regain the Raw Tag Team Championship that they once held. And as we always say here on our shows, battle royales are very tough to rate. I would probably give this about maybe 2.5 to 3 stars for the effort. Surprise outcome, I'll be honest with you. I had RK Bro winning this thing because of the role they've been on lately. But no, they decided to give it to the Viking Raiders and Eric and Ivar, former champions in their own right. And, standard TV battle royale, there was some good action in there. Not the greatest, but not the worst either. So that's all I can say on that. So congratulations to Eric and Ivar. They get another shot. So not much more to say. MF, I don't know about you, but I had RK Bro winning this thing. But the Viking Raiders, wow, What a
Well,
surprise outcome.
I think the reason why that they gave him the moment and they gave him the big win here, Anthony, is because of the fact that they wanted it to go something out of the box. I think a lot of people think that to give RK Bro the push right away would have been a little bit of a mistake. I think right now they're still building that tag team, so I think I understand why they did it. I understand why they did it. Why it went that way. I'm actually happy that it went to the Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders are a well-established tag team. They've done really well. Former tag champions. You alluded to that as well. And this was at least a solid 3-star match. The one thing that I will say is that I think over time you want to give RK Bro a bigger payoff if they are thinking of giving them the tag team titles. So, maybe Money in the Bank coming up because it's going to be with fans, or do you wait until SummerSlam in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium and then pull the trigger and let them win the titles there? They'll get a monster pop, with those fans in Vegas. So I think they're just waiting for a bigger event and a bigger payoff for RK Bro to maybe get the tag titles. But then again, you never know with the way that the booking can go. But this was a solid victory, and this will be a good test for the Viking Raiders and for Omos more than anything else. Omos has been a monster. He's been unbelievable, but now he's going up against guys who are, almost his size, almost a little heavier than Omos. So how's he going to handle two powerhouses like Eric and Ivar? We'll have to wait and see. Floyo, it's yours.
All right, MF, I'm going to need some help here because I don't have the notes in front of me because, like I said, I'm on a different device here, so I don't know what came after this. I mean, I don't know if there's any. I mean, I need help, with cutouts here.
That's fine. That's fine. I didn't think that I was gonna need that you were gonna need me, so I didn't have my my notes ready. Well, my cell phone, because that's where I normally grab all my notes from. But just give me one moment. I got it.
All right. I was gonna say while we're waiting, I mean, the announcement was made about SummerSlam.
Sure.
On a SummerSlam. It's gonna take place on. It was announced during the Preakness Stakes, or should I say the Belmont Stakes rather.
Belmont.
Yep. During the pre-show. To the surprise of none of us, I mean, we all had a feeling this was going to happen. I mean, there were some doubts, but for the first time in the over 30-year history of SummerSlam, we're going to have ourselves a Saturday night SummerSlam. I mean, how awesome is that? I mean, the first 7 years, 1988 to 1994, SummerSlam took place on a Monday night. So this is not unusual. I mean, 88 to 94, those SummerSlams were all on Monday nights.
All right, Anthony, I actually got it for you. First off, the Viking Raiders won it in 10 minutes and 35 seconds. And then our next thing that we had, the next match was Jackson Riker versus Elias. Jackson Riker won via countout in 3 minutes.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that. Throw that away. But there is one interesting thing that came out of this, and that is two things. Jackson Riker, not only a babyface, but he's got a new look. And in the immortal words of The Rock, somebody got a haircut.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So, I don't know about UMF, but he kind of has a striking resemblance to Matt Cardona almost.
In a way, yeah, I agree with that. In a way. Well, after that.
But Riker as a babyface, though, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm not quite sold yet, but you never know. We'll see. So,
yep.
That was a dud match anyway, so we're not going to waste any time on that nonsense. So,
all right, then the next thing that we did have after that was the contract signing for the WWE title match, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley.
I'll take it from here.
You got it.
Yeah, the contract signing. Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. All right. A lot of things came out of this. First things first, hands down, this was the segment of the night. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think we're in agreement on this. But before I give it to MF to start off, first things first, Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
As if it couldn't be any more exciting. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, when is this feud going to end? Well, either way, it's going to end here. I mean, but here's the other caveat. The reason why this feud's going to end either way, this is in a sense a last chance match, if you really think about it. Because what happens here is if Drew McIntyre does not defeat Bobby Lashley and does not three-peat and become a three-time WWE champion, well, for as long as the Almighty is running things, Drew McIntyre will no longer be allowed to challenge for the WWE Championship. So this is it. Last chance. You win, you get the title. You lose, see ya. No more. No more opportunities. No more chances. So, MF, I mean, what else is there to say except last chance for Drew, but more importantly, these two hosses get ready for a Be a Man style Hell in a Cell match. Oh my.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. And the one thing that I've been seeing a lot of is Drew McIntyre with that sword cutting the table in half on Bobby Lashley. That was my god.
Channel his inner He-Man. I mean, I got a He-Man. I mean, I told this to Bullock during our Raw chat the other night. When I saw him with that sword and the way he was carrying that thing around, I got a serious He-Man, I have the power vibe. Come on, admit it.
No, it's true. It's true. And that's one of our favorite movies way back in the day, Masters of the Universe. Dolph Lundgren from Rocky fame was He-Man himself. So
and the animated series.
And in the animated series as well, yes.
In the 80s.
In the 80s, yes. That was when cartoons were cartoons back in the day, folks. God, I miss those days. Anyway, yeah, no, that was definitely awesome. I was waiting for McIntyre to do the "I have the power" whack. There goes the table. But no, man, that was awesome. That was as good as you could have done it. That was a powerful message, and it had everybody was talking about it. That was definitely a highlight of the evening, no doubt about it. Good segment, and it gets me more encouraged about the title match. Now, yes, it's in Hell in a Cell. Yes, it's a last chance. But if you think about it, this is probably going to be a good matchup regardless, because Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre has really brought it in the last few weeks. So we'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good match. No doubt about that. So after that, Anthony, we had
Well, let me get into my thoughts real quick.
All right, go.
When it comes to it, yeah, this was the segment of the night. No doubt about it. I mean, one of the running gags that Bullock and I have during our Raw chat is, I have Bullock channel his inner JBL. Whenever I mention a contract signing, I'm always like, "What's going to happen here, JBL?" And he's going to be like, "It ain't going to end well." And yeah, it sure as hell didn't end well. I mean, my God, the sword through the table. I mean, that's going to be a visual. I mean, when it comes to Monday Night Raw visuals, that's definitely going to be one of the lasting images of this year. No doubt about that. The other one, of course, when you had Big Omos hovering over Elias while he was hiding in the timekeeper area about a week or two ago. I mean, those are the two images from the Raw side of things this year that's going to stick in my mind. No doubt about that. But great segment here. No doubt about it. I mean, hella fun, and it's definitely going to make that match even more fun. And if they're smart, they make this the main event. I mean, I know it's all about Roman and the Universal Championship and all that on SmackDown. I know how much they love having him main event and all that. But considering the stakes and everything else in this match, they have to make this the main event for Hell in a Cell. They really do. I mean, you have to have a Hell in a Cell match be the main event of the pay-per-view No question about that. So that's pretty much what there is here. I mean, this was hands down the segment of the night. I mean, it was absolutely well done. And what can I say? I mean, all right. Just give me a moment here as I go through. All right, I finally got everything I needed here. All right. Next up, we had Ricochet squaring off against Humberto Carrillo, and the winner of that match will become the number one contender for Sheamus and the United States Heavyweight Championship. And just give me a moment here. I mean, I'm slowly but surely getting my things together here finally. All right. Just want to see something here. That's the hit list. All right. MF, what was the time for that match? Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm about to get it up here.
Unfortunately, I don't have a time. It did, but it does say that it was a double count out.
Yeah, I know we had a dusty finish here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Fight ends in a double count out, and the only thing I can think of in this situation here is that I'm thinking this is probably going to lead to a it's got to be a triple threat, possibly at Hell in a Cell. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of here, and just give me a moment here. All right. So, but nonetheless, oh wait a minute. Time of the fall. It was a double count out at 5 minutes and 3 seconds. I thought it was a little longer than that, but unfortunately, we're gonna have to consider this an NA though. I mean, babyface matches don't always work, but it's hard. It's hard not to enjoy the kind of show two superstars of this caliber can put on with little to no effort. The mutual respect between them made this a clean and fair fight that featured several near falls. This is the kind of match that is usually hiding on Main Event or 205 Live. The ending was the only weak spot. It was inconclusive and almost made it look like neither man was worthy of a title shot. We should get some kind of development in this storyline next week, so Sheamus has a challenger for Hell in a Cell. So that's really all I can say on that. So it's going to be an NA, but if I gave it a rating, I would say fun little sprint, 2.5 to 3. If I gave it a rating, but it's going to have to be an NA for this time around because of the non-finish. So with that being said, MF, just give me a moment here. I'm gonna step away from this device and get on my traditional device, and then we'll take it from there. Take it for a spin after that. So MF, take it for a spin, and I'll be back within 30 seconds or so.
All right, no problem. Like I said, it was a solid match. Look, I'm a little disappointed that it did end in the double count out. I was hoping for something a little more better than that. But at the end of the day, yeah, the outcome was what it was, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. Like Anthony said, possibly a triple threat is definitely in the cards, but we'll wait and see what happens next week on Monday Night Raw. Anthony, back to you.
All right, back in on my traditional device, so we're ready to go. So, all right. So with that being said, let's continue on here. Next, we had Jeff Hardy versus Cedric Alexander, and the winner of the match in an even 6 minutes, it was Jeff Hardy. MF. I mean, fun little sprint here. Definitely a fun little sprint here. And who knows? I mean, if they had given these guys another 5 or so minutes, it could have been even better.
Yeah, this is like about 2.5 stars. But you know what? I gotta say, I'm so happy for Jeff Hardy, man. What a win! He needed that. That's a big win for him. That's a turnaround win. That could be something that you could bounce off or work down the line on. More than anything else, I'm happy for him. He deserved that victory more than anything else, and I got really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, this is about two to 2.5. But the thing is that just to see that Hardy got the win over Cedric, that's good, man. I like that. That's something encouraging, at least in my eyes.
You want to know something interesting here, MF? That was Jeff Hardy's first win on Raw in 4 months, if you can believe that. So I found that little tidbit on 411 the other day. So, but anyways, Alexander and Hardy had a fun, energetic match. They seemed to have good chemistry despite spending little time in the ring together before Monday night. It's weird to see Alexander lose clean after he appeared to come out on top against Shelton Benjamin in their feud. It feels like WWE is not sure if it wants to push him or not. But it was a fun little sprint, though. 2.5 to 3 stars. No question about that. Then we had ourselves a women's tag team match, and this is really where the show starts to really pick it up here. Rhea Ripley, the Raw Women's Champion, teaming up with Charlotte Flair to take on Nikki Cross and a partner of her choosing. That partner turned out to be Asuka. And Asuka and Nikki Cross, they win the match 13 minutes and 25 seconds. You can make an argument for fight of the night here. I mean, the tension between Charlotte and Rhea Ripley was textbook for this kind of situation. It was predictable, but they made it work with the way they interacted. It's a little disheartening to see Asuka and Nikki Cross treated more like nuisances than real threats. They are great performers with a lot to offer, and they should be seen as dangerous. We all saw the end coming, but it still worked for the story WWE is trying to tell here. This wasn't groundbreaking, but it was enjoyable. I'll give it about 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Definitely one of the fights of the night for sure. So we all know it's going to be Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair at Hell in a Cell for the Raw Women's Championship. But MF, I mean, is there a chance? I mean, Nikki Cross, do you think there's a chance Nikki Cross might get added to this thing?
I don't know if she's going to get added to it, but I will say this. She definitely has put herself in line for whoever the champion is, that the next challenger could be Nikki Cross. However, there's also another avenue if they wanted it to go down that route. There's another avenue that Nikki could go. Team with Asuka and maybe have them go after the WWE Women Tag Team titles because of what they just did on Monday night. So, I mean, there's a number of avenues they could go with Nikki Cross here. They could have her go solo and maybe the next in line for the Raw Women's title after the smoke clears and the dust fly between Charlotte and Rhea, or do they have her insert right then and there for the women's championship match? You could do that. Or 3, have her pair up with Asuka and maybe have them team up and go after the women's tag team titles. So I mean, there's a few avenues that they could go with Nikki Cross right now, but she is getting a monster push, and it is well deserved and definitely welcome sight to see, to say the very least, for the time being. So who knows how that plays out? This was one of the top fights of the evening. I would say 3.5. And Anthony, it's back to you.
All right, back to a cutout here. Mansoor went up against Drew Gulak. Mansoor won the match 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It was great to see both Gulak and Mansoor get some screen time, but this match would have benefited from a few more minutes. Positioning Mansoor as an underdog is a smart move. He will likely face Gulak again and get a more decisive win to solidify himself. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
1 star for the effort. Unlike that Elias and Riker fight, that was a dud. So not much more to say. Then we had Kofi Kingston squaring off against Riddle. I mean, these two were working double duty because they were both in that battle royale earlier in the night. Riddle went up against Kofi Kingston, and winner of the match, 12 minutes and 20 seconds, Kofi Kingston with the Trouble in Paradise wins the match. To me, I got to say this. I mean, there's no question about it. This was the fight of the night for me. Actually, I think MF was supposed to lead off on this next relevant thing. So, but MF, I mean,
okay, it's all good.
Kofi and Riddle, man, what a! It may have lasted a minute less than the women's match, but for me, I gotta say this was the fight of the night, no doubt about it.
Yeah, body of work of both men really made it really well. 3.5 stars for me. Fight of the night honors. Solid main event, to say the very least. And Anthony, I'll just give it right back to you.
Yes, sir. A weird trend is emerging where WWE has people work multiple matches on Raw. We have seen people pull double duty several weeks in a row. The roster has more than enough people to fill the show, so this seems like a strange pattern. Riddle and Kofi Kingston are both great athletes, so it wasn't surprising to see them put together a good match. The shenanigans at ringside were just enough without overpowering the in-ring action. The final sequence was especially entertaining. The match had a clean finish and made Kingston look great. Randy Orton will probably yell at Riddle for losing next week. So, we'll wait and see on that. But 3.5 stars, no doubt about it. That was the fight of the night. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And then from there, it was, we closed the show with Alexa's Playground in the ring this time around. Alexa Bliss and that Lily doll. And the guest was Shayna Baszler. And it's hard to tell if this was brilliant or terrible. The production value for the segment was great, but there was something about it that didn't quite click. Baszler did an excellent job selling her fear at the end, and Bliss was as creepy as ever. This could be a great storyline if WWE does it right. That's always the challenge, though. And that's really all I can say on that. But MF, I mean, a lot of people ripped this to shreds. I mean, Derek Ferreira especially ripped it to shreds, but what else is new? So,
yeah.
I mean, how do you feel? Are you going to rip it to shreds? I mean,
okay. The thing is that I think the reason why people are ripping it to shreds is because of the fact of how weak they've made Shayna Baszler look. I mean, look, I get it. I understand where the storyline's coming from. I just don't know if this was the right thing for her. Look, Shayna Baszler was an NXT Women's Champion, one of the most dominating NXT Women's Champions of all time. And now you got her almost relegated to this kind of storyline. I think that's where really the problems are lying. And a lot of people are not happy with the way that it's breaking down. I get it. I feel bad for Shayna, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of all over the place. I think that's the best. That's the best to say it more than anything else. So I really got nothing more to say. Yeah, not a great way to close Monday Night Raw, but I mean, some people will love it, some people will hate it. It just depends where you are on that fence. Floria?
And we'll get to our overall thoughts. So, MF, I'll set it up by saying definitely better than that throwaway holiday show from Memorial Day. But all in all, I mean, it was a better show, but not that much better. But it was definitely better than the previous week.
I'll give it 5.5 to 6. More on the 6 than the 5.5. But yeah, like you said, it was light years better than that last show. I just feel like right now they're kind of trying to find their way is the best way to say it. But look, they did a lot better than what they did previously. And it looked a lot more crisper. It looked a lot more sharper. The action was somewhat better. So I can't be too mad about it. And yeah, I get the storyline. Some storylines wasn't great. Some storylines could have been better in certain areas. But I think at the end of the day, I think we can give a credit where credit's due. At least they're doing their own thing. They're figuring it out. I think that's the key word, is that they're trying to figure this out. And I think they in a way they did. They figured it out a little bit. There's still some ways to go, but at least for me, I thought they did a good job. So solid 6. Anthony, it's yours.
I'm going to be a little more generous. I'm going to give it about 6 to 6.5. As a whole, this week's Raw was much better than recent episodes. We got to see a few underused superstars and a handful of good matches. Kofi Kingston and Riddle, definitely the fight of the night. The women's tag match was the second best fight of the night. We had 2 fun little sprints with Jeff Hardy and Cedric Alexander and Humberto Carrillo and Ricochet. The Battle Royale was good as well. I mean, so about 6, maybe 6.5 for Monday Night Raw this time around. So that's really all there is to say on this. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the mic over to good old MF Michael Fletcher, and he will guide us through last night's NXT. And I'm going to give you a quick little spoiler. There was one segment on this show that had me marking the F out, and MF, I think you might know where I'm going with it.
Yes. All right. So first off, before we get there, we did have the first fight of the evening, which was Oney Lorcan versus Austin Theory. Oney Lorcan wins the match in 12 minutes and 35 seconds. What a jump off to NXT. Good, solid fight, in your face, hard-hitting action. Be a man. This was easily 3 to 3.25 stars. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Anthony, there was really nothing more to say, but this was a very good opener for NXT.
Definitely. Let me see what I have. This was perfectly solid and allowed Lorcan to show off his veteran ability to lead a match. He and Austin Theory came up with a good game plan in this bout. The veteran dominated while Theory played the cocky rookie. It was nice to see Lorcan win. He rarely gets that chance, especially in singles action. When Danny Burch went down, it looked like we may not see much of him for a while. Instead, he has stood out more as the only man backing up the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne. So, not much more to say on this. 3.5 stars. Great way to start the show. So, not much more to say. MF, let's move on to our next match or segment.
Well, it would be the next match, and it would be Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Killian Dane. Isaiah Swerve Scott wins the match in 6 minutes and 39 seconds. So, Florio, it's yours.
But before that, though, there was something that went down that definitely needs to be addressed here. Not so much the promo segment, but what came out of it. You had Legado del Fantasma cutting a promo, and it was interrupted by Bronson Reed and MSK, and it was announced that at Takeover in Your House, we're gonna see. It's almost kind of like the it kind of has the vibe of the infamous In Your House triple threat, one of MF and I's favorite events of all time. That unique match that had Diesel and Shawn Michaels against Owen Hart and Yokozuna, where all the titles were on the line. In a way, it kind of has that feel, because the North American title and the tag team titles are going to be all on the line. So it's going to be a winner-take-all match. Very exciting stuff, to say the very least. And a 6-man tag match is a perfect way to close out that feud. Legado del Fantasma has been unstoppable as a trio, setting up this bout as a major advantage for the heel team. Kushida would have made more sense in Reed's spot, but a match like this still needed to happen. And Reed taunting Escobar was usual, weird WWE humor, but it worked for the dynamic of the teams. Reed and MSK are pranksters, while Legado del Fantasma remains stone-faced at all times. But anyways, Dane and Swerve, give it about 2.5 stars here. Hit Row remains one of NXT's best rising teams. The stare down with Legado del Fantasma felt massive, like the beginning of a major stable feud. The match was solid, but the interference in limited time did hold it back. It was clearly important in NXT to make Scott look like a threat, as he has more upside than Dane and Maverick at the moment. The Beast of Belfast is in a reliable position in NXT, not too high or too low. He can work with anyone and make it memorable enough to matter. 2.5 stars for me. MF, your thoughts?
2.5 stars, absolutely correct. Solid segment, no doubt about it. Good Good thing going. Solid battle, but nothing that would have ran home about. I think it would have been a little more solid than anything else. But it is what it is. It was good for what it was worth, and yeah, like you said, it was definitely a solid thing to go. So after that, we had Mercedes Martinez going up against a developmental wrestler. Crushed her in 18 seconds. So we're not going to get into that. So then, okay, before we get into the big segment, because there was a couple of segments that really stood out. So this one's been all over the internet last night. I don't know why, but it was William Regal and Triple H. They were hanging out with musical superstar Poppy. And now, for all you guys out there, Poppy's become one of the hot young artists now in music. And she has worked with WWE and mainly with NXT. I guess her song "Say Cheese" and "Eat" has been songs that they've used on NXT recently. And actually, for all you Poppy fans out there, something really cool actually happened. And yes, this legitly happened. Last night, around 9 p.m., she dropped brand new music. And yes, I did check. After it happened, it is confirmed. It's on Spotify, and I did see it. It's up there. There's 5 songs on that list. The 2 songs that you've heard, "Say Cheese" and "Eat," and 3 other songs that's been unreleased that is first time listens. They're all on that website right now. If you go to Spotify or go to Apple iTunes or wherever that you get your music, it's out there. It's there. Funny moment though, because right after that, Dexter Lumis shows up, and now you're thinking, "Uh-oh, Dex, what are you doing here?" He comes out with a very nice looking illustrated artwork piece that he presented to her. She was so surprised and almost happy about it. She gives him a hug. Triple H being the Uncle Paul of the group. Look at the look on his face was so hilarious. Had that Cheshire's cat-like grin. You see, this is awesome, man. This is how we're supposed to do it. Somebody should have told Indy Hartwell that, because she showed up, jaw dropped, runs off in tears. How could you? Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. This, Dexter is hugging this dame, Poppy. The look on William Regal and Triple H's face said it all. Tripp's face was like my look last night. Anthony was definitely acting like the William Regal, but I was definitely like the Triple H in that segment. My jaw hit the floor, and I'm like, oh no. Yes, if me and Floyo were there, I think Floyo would have had that same look like William Regal. I would have done the infamous put the towel over the head, put my palm on that towel. Oh no, we're in deep doo-doo now. And so we'll get with Poppy in a little bit, because the way tried to do something with her, and boy, did that explode on her. So we'll talk about that in a minute. The other part, and the part that I know Anthony will love to get into, Ted DiBiase comes out, asks for LA Knight and for Cameron Grimes, and they start talking. So Ted DiBiase comes out, and he brings out a ladder, a golden ladder, little money signs on it. But then there's a little briefcase inside. That briefcase was no particular briefcase. There was something special inside that said briefcase. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time since the ringmaster Stone Cold Steve Austin had it, the $1 million belt has made its return, and it's in NXT.
Woo!
Dude. And it looks beautiful.
Right?
The $1 million belt looks like the diamonds were glistening off that thing, man. It was a mark out. Yeah, all right. We were marking out. We lost it. We knew it was coming. We knew it was about to happen. We heard the rumors that the $1 million belt was going to come back at some point, and we're like, oh my God, when? Last night was the night, and boy, does it look good. And it's going to be there on Sunday night, hanging high above the ring as two men are going to try to get the possession of it. When LA Knight and Cameron Grimes get it on, we'll tell you who. We'll give you our thoughts on Saturday who we think is going to win that match. But Anthony Florio, oh, the nostalgia hit. Holy 1990 Batman.
Yes, indeed, Monsoon. Amen to that. And, well, actually, the last time we saw it was actually when DiBiase's son, Ted DiBiase Jr., you remember he was running around.
Yeah, he was with the belt. Yeah.
Back around 2010. I remember that very vividly. And he also had the beautiful Maryse on his arm as well during that time when they made him the Priceless. So, but anyways, Cameron Grimes has become the babyface in this story with little effort, and it has really sold this rivalry. LA Knight is clearly the right man for the DiBiase legacy, but Grimes cannot quite seem to realize it. This ladder match will be about forcing the technical savage to truly find himself. It is a shame that Jake Atlas was not included in the match, given his recent work and wins over both men. The $1 Million Championship can be a fresh addition to NXT, though it needs to be used differently than other men's championships in the promotion. But this is no surprise to us. I mean, we had a feeling this was going to happen. I mean, there were dirt sheets that came out about this. I didn't want to say anything. I wanted this to be a surprise. But I did know that I noticed that the guys did read on this. Eventually, they found out about it. And, I mean, when I saw the ladder, I'm like, that's when I knew. And then I'm like, but wait a minute, where is it? And then once we saw the briefcase, I'm like, oh, that's it. Come on. And then when DiBiase opened it up and the belt was inside, I just let out a simple yes. And that's what I did, because I was like, yes, 1,000 times yes. Come on, MF. You had that same feeling too, didn't you?
Oh, when I saw the briefcase, I'm like, oh no, don't tell me it's in there.
Oh, it's in there.
Don't tell me it's in there. And sure enough, once you saw that, the minute you saw the diamonds, you're like, oh,
yes.
Oh, yo, get out of here. Let's go. So, oh yeah, I was feeling it.
And because of this, I think this just became a sleeper fight of the night candidate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because going in, you're like, who cares? But now that you throw in a ladder match and the $1 million belt,
it elevates the match. It elevated the match
tenfold.
Yeah.
And
because if you do the match just on its own, nobody's gonna care.
Absolutely not.
But now you put higher stakes on it because the $1 million belt is in it. Now you're talking legacy. Now you're talking. I mean, look at the men who had their hands on the $1 million belt. Ted DiBiase, Virgil. Yes, you could say Jake the Snake had his hands on the belt. Technically not officially, but he did.
He confiscated it.
But
he held it hostage.
But remember, possession's 9/10 of the law. So
and DiBiase beat him at WrestleMania 6 and what ended up being the underrated sleeper fight of that night.
Yeah. So you had that. Then on top of that, now you had Steve Austin as when he was known as the ringmaster.
Indeed.
He had it. Like you said, Ted DiBiase Jr. He had it. So, I mean, the legacy of that belt means everything to wrestling. And, you know, like you said, it is a little unique because, remember, it's not an official title in WWE. It never was an official title. So, in the ways of a ladder match, this is fine. But once you get past this, Remember, this was never universally recognized as a championship in WWE. So back in the day, you could win a match by disqualification, by count out, in order to win.
Oh, we should have set it. We should have set that son of a gun up. You could win it on a count out. You could win it on a disqualification.
Yeah.
You could win it on a pinfall. And then Gorilla, and then you know what Gorilla said after that. As long as you get your hand raised, and that's what you
that's exactly what it was. As long as you got your hand raised, you were the possessor of the $1 million belt. Cameron Grimes and LA Knight will now have an opportunity at immortality.
And
not many men has held that belt, and now one of them will be the $1 million champion.
And let me just say it like this, MF. I mean, when it comes to the $1 million championship, when it comes to matches for it, I mean, there's only two that stand out. The first one, obviously, DiBiase and Jake the Snake at WrestleMania 6. But the one that really stands out, and the best match that was ever battled for that belt, and we both agree on this, and I know you do especially, was when DiBiase and Virgil had the sleeper fight of the night of SummerSlam 91 in Madison Square Garden, where Roddy Piper's commentary put that son of a gun even more over the top.
Yeah.
And it did.
It did.
And this year marks the 30th anniversary of that. So it was 30 years ago in Madison Square Garden, one of the greatest SummerSlams of all time. And I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, my all-time personal favorite SummerSlam, but it's a story for another day. But MF, I mean, with these two former Impact Wrestling mainstays, LA Knight as Eli Drake, one-time former Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, and Cameron Grimes as Trevor Lee, the former multi-time X Division champion. So this is a great moment for me because, these were two guys who came through Impact, and I'm glad to see these two getting a chance at career elevation here. And the point I'm trying to make here is this match here, if all goes well, it could go down as the greatest $1 million championship match in history, surpassing DiBiase and Virgil from SummerSlam 30 years ago in the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
It's got potential. I believe it, and I know we'll get more into that on Saturday night. So, but this was, for me, no question about it, this was the segment of the night, and all I can say is I'm still marking out, and I'm going to be marking out even more come Sunday night. So let's do this thing. I'm ready.
Think about this. The first time the belt had ever shown up was on March 4th, 1989 on a Superstars of Wrestling in Binghamton, New York.
Yep.
That was the day that the $1 million belt was born and was created. The last time the belt was ever shown, has ever shown its face, was November 15th, 2010. Anthony, you were right. Monday Night Raw in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
That was the old school Raw.
Yeah.
Which was the go-home show for that year's Survivor Series.
And now, almost 11 years later, about 11 years later, the belt will make its appearance in Orlando, Florida, at the Capitol Wrestling Center, the CWC, on Sunday night, and somebody is going to become the fifth man ever to have the $1 million belt. Unbelievable. Get ready, guys. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right. So that was the big moment that Floyo wanted to get into. After that, we had the Grizzled Young Veterans. They went up against August Gray and Akman Jaro. Grizzled Young Veterans wins the match in 4 minutes and 58 seconds. Anthony, if you want to talk about it, we can. If you don't, then we could just move on along.
Well, showcase match, really. I mean, this match never really got to a point that fell out of hand for GYV. The arrival of Ciampa and Thatcher just allowed the 205 Live duo to hit a few nice moves. It's a shame because August Gray and Jaro are better than they got the chance to look here. Even while WWE has rebuilt the NXT Cruiserweight Championship's prestige, 205 Live remains the forgotten brand, and that's a damn shame because they put together solid shows every week. GYV versus Ciampa and Thatcher deserved a bigger stage, but not every match can make the TakeOver card. This final match between these teams should be special and main event next week's show, because next week it's basically going to be no rules, because they said it's going to be a tornado tag match, and you know how fun and unpredictable Texas tornado matches can be, don't we, MF?
Oh yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. All right, so here we go. After that, we did have a segment. Candice LeRae came out with Indy Hartwell. Candice was mad. She was hopping mad for what happened earlier in the evening with Poppy, with Dexter Loomis. But you would think that Candice would have been so happy, finally my partner's back and everything else. No, she took it to heart. So she wanted Poppy to come out. Poppy did, and Candice basically called her out, challenged her. Poppy's like, I'm not a wrestler, but I know someone who is, and who would gladly take you up on that offer of a wrestling match. The genius in the sky, Io Shirai, is back, and boy, she looks, whoo, dude. I'm gonna say it. Io versus Candice? Yes, please. Thank you. I would love to see a match. I would love to see these two go at it. Anthony Florio, I think Candice was really trying to manipulate and bully Poppy around. Poppy had an ace in the sleeve, and boy, what an ace it is. The former NXT Women's Champion herself.
And there's a lot of history here. I mean, about 2 or 3 years ago, Io Shirai challenged Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's title in a steel cage match, and Shayna won. Candice LeRae came out, and that's when Io Shirai turned heel, and then they started the feud with Candice LeRae. But this time around, the roles are reversed, with Candice as the heel and Io as the babyface. But NXT, they leaned into campy comedy this week, and it surprisingly worked. The backstage Poppy segment was so ridiculous that it somehow worked as an album release. It also helped add even more absurd drama to the romance of Indy Hartwell and Dexter Loomis. It also worked to bring back Io Shirai. She and Candice LeRae have so much history, and the Genius of the Sky can get a tag team partner to challenge for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships next. She and LeRae are truly destined to fight forever, but the matches will always be worth it. I don't know if it's going to be on. I don't know if it's going to be on Takeover in Your House, because that show's loaded enough. But maybe on a future NXT, who knows? So we'll wait and see. But second best segment of the night, even though it was a great segment, that $1 million segment was, to me, the segment of the night by a smidge.
It's not just by a smidge. That was the segment of the night. All right, so then next up we had was Dakota Kai versus Ember Moon. And Ember Moon wins the match in 12 minutes and 32 seconds via disqualification. Anthony, it's yours.
3 1/4 to 3.5 here. Ember Moon and Dakota Kai have chemistry that can be explored with more stakes down the line. The non-finish hurt the quality of the bout, but made complete sense. Kai is a likely future title contender and should be protected for that opportunity. She pushed the War Goddess and may have done enough to make sure Gonzalez retains. However, NXT still allowed Moon to get the final laugh before TakeOver with an eclipse. This feud has story behind it, but NXT has not done quite enough to make the story feel special. This match and segment was the best they have done so far, just in time for the title match. So I'm going to give it about 3 1/4 stars because of the finish here. Second best fight of the night. You got to say the match of the night, I have to say, was the Oney Lorcan and Austin Theory bout. But if not for the DQ finish, I would have called this the fight of the night. But second best for me, 3 1/4. MF, your thought?
Agreed, 3 1/4, solid match, no doubt about it. Then we go right into the main event segment, which was basically the 5 guys who's going to be a part of the WWE NXT championship match, and boy, did that just explode. Great ending sequence with everything else. But Adam Cole standing tall with the NXT title, oh boy, did that have... I know Michael Bullock probably would have been hopping mad. He does not want to see Adam Cole as the champion. But Anthony, I mean, what a segment. And I mean, this is going to be must see on Sunday night at In Your House.
Oh, yeah. While a few corny lines did not work here, the overall impact was what mattered. Karrion Kross looked like the dominant force he has been for months by refusing to stay down. Adam Cole made his mark by taking advantage of the chaos. The dynamic works and the match should be excellent. These men are all among NXT's best. They clearly have proven chemistry, even with just their brawling. What could be more interesting is William Regal's frustration boiling over. He is losing the roster at the moment, and he will need to do something massive to take it back as long as Kross defies him. Another one of the segments of the night, so there's not really much more to say on this, but we're going to get into the overall thoughts of this go home to take over In Your House edition of NXT, and I will start it off. This it's very simple. This was a 7 out of 10 for me. Just want to make sure I have the proper notes here. Give me one moment here. Okay. NXT did exactly what it needed to this week. The matches weren't up to the usual caliber of matches, but nothing was bad, and we got the needed developments to head into NXT TakeOver In Your House this weekend. The return of Io Shirai was a nice surprise, and while the show may not have been up to recent weeks, it was a perfectly good couple of hours of wrestling. So, solid 7 out of 10. And one other thing that stood out last night, we went back in time. I mean, how great was it to see Michael P.S. Hayes back as Doc Hendricks a la 1995?
Oh, that was awesome, man. And we had the Slim Jim update.
Yes, sir. And just wait till this weekend when we get Todd Pettengill back.
Yeah, we get Pettengill. I mean,
oh, yeah.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun weekend. No doubt about it. Like I said, yeah, I agree with it. 7 out of 10. I thought it was a solid show. I think everybody did really well. A nice little hype for In Your House. And we're going to wait and see. But Saturday, we'll have the preview for that, along with AEW and SmackDown Live. But tomorrow night, we got another edition of Strictly Sports where we will be talking some NFL news. We got some big NFL news. Julio Jones has found a new team. Where's he going? We'll find out. Then we're going to preview the second round of the NBA. And depending, now I'm holding this out, but depending on the outcome of Colorado versus Vegas, if Vegas does win tomorrow, we might be able to even preview or at least give our first thoughts of the NHL Final Four. That's right, the Final Four of the NHL. But that all depends on if Vegas wins tomorrow night over Colorado. But we won't know until, maybe... What time does the puck drop? 9 o'clock?
I believe it does, yeah.
And okay, so we might not be able to get it. No, it's a 9 o'clock puck drop. That's gonna be cutting it close. Maybe if we're sure. Go ahead.
What I think we should do is we should push back the Stanley Cup semifinal preview to the following week's show. So this way we have at least something.
Yeah, all right, that's fine.
Unless we have enough time, but
yeah, obviously. So all right, so Thursday's the NBA. Tomorrow's the NBA preview or the NBA second round preview. We're gonna get into that, and then we'll go into some of the news. Then we'll go into some of the news in the NFL. There's only one big bit of news. So with that said. Thank you, Anthony Floyo, as always. Thank you guys, as always. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. We'll see you guys tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern on Anthony's channel, The Tone 25. Until then, have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow night.